Hi and welcome to this video. This short video is designed to give you an overview of a new program that I am creating, which is all about 10 steps to get unstuck and step into your power. So each lesson I do will cover one of those steps, and I'm planning to do one a day so that people can keep up with it. And so each lesson that becomes available will have a short video like this as a kind of a taster for what you can expect from the lesson. So it will give you an idea of whether it's something that you want to buy or not, and it will be, quite a low cost lesson as well. I think it works better to provide things in bite-sized lessons because it just fits better with everybody's busy schedule. So to get into it, the purpose of this video is to give you the overview for the program itself, but also to give you a bit of an idea of what we'll cover in lesson one. So essentially, I have devised 10 steps that will get you unstuck and move you into your power. So this is really getting into the crux of what a lot of women are talking about, whether that be on social media. There's a lot of focus on these areas in terms of the coaching work that I'm doing and the interest in the learning that I'm providing. So this is really it's a combination of the work that I've done with women over the years through my current coaching practice, through the research that I've done, and also through my own lived experience as well. So let me give you a kind of overview of what's involved in the program. So like I said, it's 10 lessons. Today is going to be lesson one. And lesson one is all about the practice of awareness and connecting with inner wisdom. So I'm going to really get into the ways in which you can apply this in a practical sense, also the way in which we frame our self-beliefs in terms of the way that we kind of respond to our own needs. So I'm going to get into quite a bit of detail about it. There are also some exercises available and some links to useful resources as well in the handout. Lesson two, or step two, is the ability to zoom out, to identify your wants and get clear about outcomes. So this is an area where it's really kind of practicing what's important to us, how we can get that perspective. And quite often it does come down to the skill of being able to zoom out and really kind of disconnect from the ideas around, traditional ambition of, acquiring status or wealth or, the kind of physical material aspects. The feedback that I get from working with clients and also over working with clients for many years has been that it's more about a sense of stability, security. It's more about having freedom. You know, it's the focus on that rather than the idea of what that entails. So, the feeling like I have to earn a certain amount of money or I have to attain a certain level. It's not about that. It's really taking ourselves out of what the expectations are. So, not how do we fit into these roles externally, what is going to be important for me. So, that's going to be lesson two. Lesson three is all about how we engage with our creativity. So, really understanding how we can light that up when we're under so much pressure. So it's this kind of feeling of needing to be productive or kind of needing to have results or an outcome. And the effect of that is very often it squashes creativity, which is what we tend to feel is kind of our life blood. We have this need to be creative and to make progress in that way. And if we just look at it in terms of, I just have to give and be productive and fit with the norms, it really kind of squashes out our day-to-day feeling about how we want to be spending our time. So it's kind of reframing and looking at that. Lesson 4 and step 4 is the practice of self-compassion. I mean, I talk about self-compassion a lot. It's a component to any sort of sense of a foundation for well-being. But what I want to explore a bit more is how self-compassion can often get tied up into self-care, which can become an idea of a product that we need to acquire, or a certain state that we need to be in, or we need to be healthy enough or fit enough. We need to be conforming to these ideas in order to feel that we are being compassionate towards ourselves. And it's something which is quite often, part of a toxic health and wellness culture, which is completely different to self-compassion. Self-compassion is more about how do we navigate what's best for us? How do we make the decisions that are best for us? And a lot of women are doing things like limiting their diet, over exercising, kind of going to extremes to try to find a way to connect and support themselves. But actually, it's just another form of control. So I'm going to look at that in more detail. Step 5 and lesson 5 is to be led by your most authentic self to support all your decisions. So it's really connecting with who you are and what your values are in order to support your journey. Because so often we feel like we're in a position of regret or self-doubt, where we're at a certain time and place and we can feel like, oh God, maybe if I just hadn't made that decision, or if I hadn't ended that relationship, or I hadn't gone for that job, or whatever it might be, maybe I wouldn't be here. And I think it takes on too much of an onus of responsibility on ourselves. And actually, as long as we are showing up as our most authentic selves and those decisions are based on that, we can't make a mistake. So we're going to get into that in a bit more detail. I think that's really important. Lesson 6, step 6, is to follow purpose and meaning as your North Star rather than personal ambition. So it's how do we really get some assurance, self kind of groundedness, that we're on the right track. Because if we go down a path of finding ways to stretch ourselves, to find new kind of versions of our reality and how we live our lives, it can be overwhelming. But if we feel that we are maintaining a sense of purpose, if we get up every day and we are excited about what comes next, if we are engaged, if we are more relaxed, if we are happier, then we know that we have meaning and purpose. And so that has to be our North Star. And the other things come with that. But so often we're like, it has to be the job, it has to be the career, it has to be, I don't know, like the relationship or the school that your child goes to. It can be literally anything. So how about if the North Star is meaning and purpose? That completely shifts the way in which we even kind of interact with the outside world. So that's lesson 6. Lesson 7 and step 7 is this issue about feeling limited by duality. So very often we are in this space of constantly feeling like it's a choice between this or that. It's black, it's white, it's one thing or the other. It's them and us. And it's very limiting. It also makes us feel like we are in a position constantly of succeed or fail. It's win or lose. And the reality is that, you'll hear time and time again, people talking about success. Who are the most successful people? They always talk about failure. They always talk about grit. So very often as women, we are programmed to feel like if you try something and you get it wrong, it is going to be humiliating. It is going to be a failure. But you have to be comfortable with failure in order to make progress. Success is really a series of failures until you get to the point of, achieving something, whatever that might be. But it's learning. That's the point. So really getting to grips with the idea that, okay, this is a strap line I came up with the other day. Duality is not reality. How do you like that one? Memorable and true. Step 8 and lesson 8 is getting comfortable with getting uncomfortable. So, I've said this a few times. The gap between knowing and not knowing is called learning. And it is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because we are kind of vulnerable, we're a bit exposed, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to get it right. But it opens up curiosity and it enables growth. Learning has to be hard. I think there's this idea like you have to pick something up straight away in order to be able to make progress with it. And it's just not true. It's about grit. It's about carrying on. And so really looking at that discomfort and reframing it is actually it's learning. Okay. It's not that I am just making mistake after mistake after. I'm just trying and I'm trying to grow. And if I'm trying to grow, I have to learn. So it's really, we're going to dig into that in a lot more detail. Step 9 and lesson 9 is to strengthen muscle memory from making good decisions that build trust in yourself. And this also involves adding those accomplishments to the bank. So this is really about how if you are aware and you practice making decisions that are serving you, like the simple idea of should I exercise or should I not exercise? If you are inclined to exercise regularly and you have built up all of those times in the bank, then if you approach a single instance where you might feel super tired or you haven't eaten or it's just not, it's just going to be difficult, you just feel like it's not right for you, you have the confidence to be able to say, I'm not going to do that today, but I trust myself that I'll be able to do it another day. And that's a very basic example, but it also comes down to major life decisions. Because if you are grounded and confident in your ability to make decisions on the day-to-day things, then you can move forward and not focus on the what ifs or, aspects of regret about things that are essentially outside of our control. So this is a really helpful one, and it's a good way to approach building a practice and getting those accomplishments in the bank. And step 10, lesson 10, is it's drawing from that. So it's to reality check the evidence. There is a lot around this idea of, in terms of this idea around confidence building or leadership, it just feels like it's a case of you have to try to project a certain image. You have to sort of be someone that you're not. You have to be the warrior quite often and sort of plow through and show that you can do it. It's a much healthier approach to consider when you're facing challenge and adversity. What's the reality of what you've been through before? If you have a new challenge and it's something new, say it's a completely different project and it's something which is outside your comfort zone, if you can recognize that you've been through a similar position in the past where you started something new and you were able to learn and grow and make sense of it, if you have practiced all of these other steps and if you're clued up on awareness and you've got all of this in the bank, you can look back and say with confidence, this looks difficult, this looks challenging, I'm holding all the feelings around that which are natural, but I know because I've got it in the bank that I have dealt with challenging situations before, and the skills that I use for that challenging situation are applicable to what I'm doing now. It's not kind of this inflating yourself, inflating your ego, boosting yourself up. It's we need to have it proven to us. I think that's the thing for us as women. It's like we don't just go, okay, fine, I'll just do that then because you said I can do it. It's more like I need to find out for myself. And that's what reality checking is. So we're going to get into all of that with lesson 10. So that's what I've got for the program. I've given a bit more about what to expect from lesson 1. So if you're interested in lesson 1, then feel free to download it now. Okay, thanks.